tell me why you wanted to start with e-commerce.
Manager at the Housing Association sent me an email, said it was quite nasty and said that I needed to do even more properties, even though I wasn't having a lunch break. I'm a single parent with my son, so I think I want to show him that unless you take control of your life, someone else will take control for you.
What were, let's say, of the most helpful things that you found initially?
I think what I do love is the accountability. They're all very aware of what stage you're at, and they always want to drive and push you forward. Do it again. It's not good enough. You've got the know-how. You just need the skill of getting things to put together. So I do actually like the fact that.
All right, guys, I'm here today with my client, Georgina. Georgina has been in the program for quite some time right now, and she is actually one of the most active clients inside our community, and also on everything basically that we do outside of the calls and of course the community support that we offer. So Georgina, I'm going to talk with you today about your experience, of course, in the program. Can you maybe shortly tell me why you wanted to, let's say, start with e-commerce in the first place?
Yes, of course. I have had two careers, one in probation where I was working with high-risk members of the community that had been released from prison. And it was a very stressful job. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but it was very low paid for the amount of risk that you look after. I then decided to change careers, and I do energy assessments on properties and stock condition surveying for housing associations. So I just finished a 6 to 7 day a week, and I also have my own business doing energy assessments as well. But when I look at that, I was exhausted, and the manager at the Housing Association sent me an email in January this year and said it was quite nasty and said that I needed to do even more properties, even though I wasn't having a lunch break. And I was carrying a ladder. It was freezing cold. It was pouring with rain. And I think it was at that point I thought, either I really have to commit myself to make a change for myself. And more importantly, I'm a single parent with my son. So I think I want to show him that unless you take control of your life, someone else will take control for you. So they're the reasons why I started looking into what avenue I could potentially do.
That's beautiful. I think when you also have like a clear, let's say, focus on, let's say, the why, why this is important to you, but also for the people around you, what you've been going through, also feeling exhausted, right? Then I believe as well that it's the right time for the change. And of course, you directly told me as well, hey, I'm going to go, let's say, all in this program. And of course, you took like very great action from, let's say, the first day. Like I said, you almost attended every single call. And I think as well, with the knowledge that you've gained, you're way further right now than when you started. And before, let's say, you even enrolled right into the program, with what you've been going through, what did you think of, let's say, the general e-commerce concept in let's say, in general?
I think when you start looking at it, and from the coaching calls and the team that you have available, they are all experts in their field. And what I suffer with a lot is not believing in myself. And I think from the get-go, you and your team instill the fact that it really is very possible. And once you learn the ropes or the skills of the game, you can make it run as high and as wide as the potential to earn is limitless. And I think for me personally, that is a really valuable thing to understand, and it helps my confidence. I'm not always the fastest to pick up things, not with IT again, though I challenge myself personally because that's a skill that I'm not strong at. So I try with this e-commerce learning to increase my IT skills at the same time. If you ask me how to do a Zoom call or how to share a screen or how to make a Facebook ad a few months ago, I would not have known how to have even thought about how to do it. So even from a very general perspective, that learning has been huge for me personally.
Yeah, that's beautiful to hear. And do you think as well, with, let's say that maybe the limited beliefs that you had about yourself, that you actually transitioned that a little bit by time, that you actually became more confident in your ability to actually make this work for yourself as well?
I think it's something I'm going to struggle with until I see those results coming in. But if I look back from what I've learned so far, and I think the coaching calls really helped me because they show you what really is impossible, and it's not just a one-off. It's I mean, you have coaching calls 3 times a week, so you are always constantly told that this is possible and this really is real, and it's really doable. So I think for anyone that is struggling with those kind of issues, to see that consistently makes me then begin to believe in myself. So I think it's one of those things for me. It's one of those things that I hope will continue to grow.
Yeah, yeah. 100%. And I think as well, like that belief that you will get, that first comes from taking action. And that will, of course, give you eventually the result that you're aiming for. And let's say once you came into the program, right? We also gave you some initial steps, to kind of, let's say, get the ball rolling. What were, let's say, for you, let's say, the most helpful things that you found initially that helped you, let's say, occur, maybe getting that momentum up that you've created for yourself in the past weeks as well?
I think what I do love is the accountability. So you have a very tight team that are all very aware of where each member that you accept into your e-commerce group, they're all very aware of what stage you're at, and they always want to drive and push you forward, and they are all willing to help you achieve that, or if you've got a problem or an obstacle. You also put us in Discord groups, small groups that, again, so you get to know each other quite personally as well. And I think for someone like myself who might struggle with confidence or putting myself out there for me, it might be a really silly issue, like the clutching bundle. And I might not want to say it vocally, but when you're in a small team, you feel like you're able to. Or if you know someone else struggles with learning IT or not as quick at it. And then also the coaching calls, again, it kind of forces you to tell you what, even though you may think it's a silly issue or problem that you have, you kind of coerce us into saying what the issue is in order that you can remedy it as quick as possible, so that you personally can move forward to be in a far better position the following week. So I think for me, the coaching calls and those small disco groups are really good for me. I like the fact that you keep the numbers small and that you are very selective about who you take on, because I think that means you get to know us each individually and what we might struggle with personally, and then you reach out to us to make sure that we can overcome that. So for me, that's what I really love.
Yeah, I think it's important, right? Because in the end, when, for example, I take the calls myself, and that way I cannot buy more time. So with that, I also need to be, let's say, picky in who I, will be able to and can actually help, to grow in this business. So with still, let's say, community that we have in terms of size, I believe as well with the smaller groups that we have created, it allows us as well to keep track, of course, of your progress better, but also to have, let's say, you become more comfortable in maybe sharing things or having questions that you will able to maybe get back to that group as well, instead of just me personally. You will be able to get help from the community, and they're also, of course, willing to help you out as well, to make the, let's say, barrier a little bit, let's say, just lower that a bit, so you are also able to let's say, acclimate to it, right?
Yeah. And I think I can take criticism quite well. I don't, because of my work in probation, it's not an issue. So you can kind of, I like the fact that this community is very honest. So all you and the other mentors will, if something's rubbish, you will have no qualms in telling you, do it again. It's not good enough. You've got the know-how. You just need the skill of getting things to put together. So I do actually like the fact that everyone is very honest, because there's no point in feeding someone a lie or a mistruth, because they're going to have a perception that's not going to be real. And so I think for myself, I like the fact that it's very honest, because you can only get better if you have honest feedback.
100%.
So that's a personal, again, for me personally, I really like that fact.
I appreciate you sharing that as well. And, I think as well, when you're starting a business and you're not, let's say, very good with receiving feedback, what happens a lot, right? It also takes longer to actually go from maybe where someone is right now to actually becoming successful, because most likely they have their own point of view on it, right? And I definitely don't say that I'm always right, but if you're able to consume that feedback and either use it in your advantage, or to use it at, like, hey, I'm not going to do anything with it. Let's set it, forget it. I believe that's actually going to make basically the change for, let's say, someone who is maybe just starting and will see success maybe 3 years only, and they will pay with time and money, or someone who is going to use it in their advantage, as they will see let's say, success quicker, because you will learn from someone who has already been there to also learn from their mistakes, right? And that will allow you to also save a lot of money by time, for sure. Yeah,
definitely.
Oh, cool. Since you came into the program, right, what do you think is, let's say, maybe one of the most important things specifically, let's say maybe a skill that you've been able to acquire, that you feel that have been able to help you learn and accomplish those skills?
I think product research is phenomenal. You have a school community as well as your inside branding domination group. So you have product research. So for me, I think that is incredibly valuable. And I think if people are aware of your product research, they can see results a lot quicker and a lot sooner.
Yeah, beautiful.
And the fact that it's free and you don't have to have a million apps to do it, or a lot of money, I think that's incredibly valuable.
Yeah, perfect. And that's also coming back to like what I said earlier, as you attend, let's say, almost all sessions. Look, the product research and how we find winning products, maybe with like slight changes, is going to change by time, because we need to, let's say, also adapt, because the world is also like changing quicker and quicker, right? So I believe as you're attending so much, you will be always, let's say, as well, like on top of like the newest features, the newer things that come up. And I have no doubt that you will see success with those strategies in a very short time, even more. So yeah, let's say someone who is watching this right now, and of course you have been in the program for some time now as well. What would you say maybe to that person who is maybe thinking about maybe joining our program, or let's say willing to start with dropshipping in the first place, who's maybe hesitant about starting their own e-commerce business, right? Who is not taking action? What would your advice be to that person?
I think you need to go all in. I think you need to make a commitment and a promise to yourself to believe that it's possible. I think it's opened me up to a world of where you, in your group, you consistently see people getting success, and just the enthusiasm of the team and the drive and the accountability. I think it's a no-brainer. I thoroughly am enjoying this journey. It's not always easy because you're learning new things. So sometimes you struggle and you feel like you're banging your head against a brick wall. But when you go back and have a break, you go back the next day and you think, oh my God, this was so simple. You resolve whatever the issue was. And then you don't forget that error that you made. So I definitely recommend it. I'm wholeheartedly enjoying the whole process, because I think to reach the level where you want to be, it is a journey, and it's one that you need to go all in on and promise yourself that you'll work hard to achieve it. So I definitely recommend the course.
I really appreciate you sharing this with us as well, Georgina. Truly,
no problem.
Is there maybe something on top of that you would like to maybe add as well, to what we've talked about right now?
No, I think you've the only awareness I think you've got to be is if people in the team are on different time zones. So be aware of what your time zone is, and when others that you want to get in contact with, it may be different. So if you have that awareness from the offset, I think that puts you in good stead for knowing when you can reach out to people.
Beautiful. Thank you for your, let's say, honesty, transparency. And yeah, this is of course helping us a lot. So yeah, we truly appreciate you taking the time to help us with this as well. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome.